Now let's go and create a layout in our document. So we'll go here under create to the user interface elements. And in this, we have a few options. So under object properties, we can create a layout with the 1x2 columns. So if we imagine 3 columns, and then the first section will have a single column, and then there'll be a wider space next to that. So let's choose that one and Control Enter to add it. And if we go to the navigator, we can see we have now 2 references. So in here, we have a pair of columns. If we click here, and I'm just closing this, we can see there's a column here, and next to that, there's a wider space. So let's put something in the left-hand side. And again, we're going to raise the text box. So this is the left-hand side. And when we want to add it inside of this left column, we need to Shift Enter that. So we need to create this element as a child of this block. So if I hit Shift Enter, then that's gone in here. And similarly, if I wanted to include text on this right side, then I hit Shift Enter here, and now that's positioned on that side. So we have this 2-column layout now. And let's say we wanted to add a variable on the left-hand side as well. So bringing back our menu here, and let's go to variables, and let's create a variable with the value 12, and let's assign that variable name A. And so we say set value, and we need to position ourselves where we want that to be. So let's say we want it on this side, and let's set that value. And there isn't any expression of that. This is simply setting the value of a variable in memory. So there's nothing to show on the screen. So to grant the user the ability to change the value of that variable, we want to add a range slider. So here we'll click on Operate. So now we see we can change the value of that variable. We could also add instead a user input field. So if we add this one as well, so if we say Operate here, then we have a different way to change that value. Okay, so that's been added to that side of the screen. Now let's add in a table. And we'll cover tables in more detail later, but under Create, let's go here to Data Table, and you'll see the creation of this data table. There are some attributes listed here already. So there is a kind of template or a preset that's available. And let's say we want to save this data table as DT. And let's say we want to connect this data table to this variable A. So we will include as an input here the value A. And in our function string, let's say we simply multiply this value of A. So to include a variable value, you use the curly brackets here and then the variable name. So the value of A will appear here. And then we are using that, we are going to multiply it here. So once more, we have to include the names of the variables. So if there were other variables we wanted to include, we would use semicolon B, semicolon C, and so on. So at the moment, we only have A. And then to use the value of A, you use the curly brackets and include it in your script here. And yeah, I want to put it in here, and I want it as a child of this object. So I'm going to say here, Shift Enter. And now I have a data table in this part. And let's, in fact, clean up the interface, Escape. And now if we change the value here, you can see that the X2 value is increasing because or was that X1? Yeah, the X1 value, we have been multiplying by this value of A. So that value is changing dynamically now. You'll see X2 is also changing, and that's simply because if you look in that code, this column was calculated as a random number. And then this column is some combination. It's the sum of these two weighted by some numbers. We've covered a bit more than intended, right? So we've had a quick look at variables and data tables, which we'll cover in more detail later. But the intention here is to show you've got a 2-column layout now. So we've gone a bit past the scope, but let's go back here. Let's go back into the left-hand column, and let's add another type of user interface element. So there are different types. We can also have 2 columns of an equal size and so on. So there are different layouts there. Now let's add an accordion. So an accordion, well, let's just run this. So again, Shift Enter to make sure that's added onto inside of that box. So Shift Enter. And now we see we have an accordion here. And we should have included some space up there. But anyway, so we have this accordion. And what we can do is create a reference in different parts of that accordion. So let's say here in this part, let's say we added some text. So Alt-1, and we'll write here, this is section 1 in the accordion. And again, we need Shift Enter to make sure that it goes inside of that part of the accordion. Shift Enter, so that's in there now. Now let's go to the other accordion, the other element of the accordion. Now we've clicked here, which is the parts of the accordion that we want, but it's currently closed, so we need to open it up. So now we can see that outline there. So we can say this is section 2 in the accordion. Again, Shift Enter. And for section 3, yeah, let's just do that. Or maybe we want to, okay, let's just do it this way, section 3. Okay, so in section 3, that's available there. So let's clean up the interface. So you can see we have an accordion style of thing here. So this helps us to control the layout and mask out any sections that we want to. So we don't want too much information on the screen at any one time. So this helps us to lay that out better. And there is a third type of user interface element. So if we go here, let's add it. Let's add it into. Yeah, let's add it into this part again. And the third type of element that we will add, user interface element, is the text container. So you can edit in here the text container. So we can, for instance, say drop me, and we are using the font awesome icons. So we can say FA-users, for instance, and let's Shift Enter to add that into this block. Shift Enter. So we can see that's added in here. And if we click that, that's a drop-down menu. So we can add into that, of course. So if we go in here and let's find that element, is that here? Let's open that so we can find it, right? That's there. And then again, we can add any type of object in there. So inside the text, okay, and Shift Enter for that. Okay, so those are ways that we can control the layout and position things better and so on. Right, so once more, you'll find that under your creation section, or you can hit Alt-2, well, 2 is for the image, Alt-3 for user interface element. You choose the UE type here, and this list will change over time. There should be more entries over time. So we can select our element type, we can configure it here, and then we can control the layout that way.